one of the top catalysts for markets this week is that upcoming Fed decision. While most investors don't expect the Fed to cut rates this week, we could get insight from Fed Chair Jay Powell's remarks about any potential upcoming cuts. Traders now pricing in a 100% chance of a cut in September. That's according to the CME Fed Watch tool. Our very own Jennifer Schomburger is here with us to talk about what we need to know ahead of the meeting. Jennifer, it's great to have you. So I know that we all like to dive into and dissect every single word that Chair Powell has to say. What do you think needs to be the biggest change this week for investors to get even more confident about a potential September cut?
Good morning, Maddie. Yeah, I think there's two main things I'm looking for, watching for this Fed policy meeting for the Fed to signal and set the table for rate cuts later this fall. First, I'm looking for changes in language to the policy statement. Are they going to tweak key sentences that we've seen in that statement? One, towards the top, that there's been modest progress on inflation, or that key language that's really been in the statement since January, that the officials don't expect to lower rates until they've gained further greater confidence that inflation is falling back to their 2% target. Now, I'll also, of course, be listening to what Chair Powell has to say in his press conference, and I expect him to reiterate what he said in his last public comments before the blackout period, which is that inflation in the second quarter is giving the Fed somewhat greater confidence that prices are returning to their 2% target. Now, I don't expect that he's going to offer some sort of calendar guidance, right? That would be very out of character for the Fed. He's likely to reiterate that they're going to make decisions meeting by meeting. And the reason for that is they don't want to tie their hands. If the inflation data does not cooperate, they don't want to commit at this point.
Jen, well, good to see you. I'm really happy the Fed's not cutting rates this meeting because I have a 7-month CD maturing in like 3 days. So I'm going to roll that back over and make some more free money from the government. But
they're going to move slowly, Brian. Don't worry. They'll move slowly.
Fair enough. You know, I've been hearing from a lot of folks I've been talking to on the street, Jen, that while they're willing to embrace a rate cut in the fall, now there seems to be this thinking emerging that maybe a rate cut would not signal good things for the economy. I think I talked to Citi's Drew Pettit this morning, and he surprised me by saying Citi's team is expecting a mild recession in the fourth quarter. I haven't heard the word recession in more than a year.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's always on the lookout for the recession, right, Brian? Like, we've seen the inverted yield curve for how many months now? How long has this been going on? And yet we see growth continue to surprise to the upside in the second quarter, clocking in at 2.8%. So you kind of have a Goldilocks scenario. That said, the Fed is now looking at the labor market more closely than the inflation side of things, because that has been cooling, right? The unemployment rate ticking up to 4.1%, up from 3.4% last year. More people trying to join the job market, but not able to find jobs as easily. So this is really a risk management equation for the Fed. They know that the job market will peak after the economy. And so if you've seen great deterioration in the job market, you're too late. The recession is here. And I think that Powell is keenly aware of that. He has said that the Fed needs to cut well before inflation falls to 2%. So that's why I think the Fed is really looking at September to try to ensure this soft landing. That said, it has been historically very difficult to engineer a soft landing, and former Fed officials I talked to are not sold that that is indeed going to be the case this time around, which jives with what you're hearing from Citigroup.
All right, Jennifer, great stuff as always. Appreciate you joining us. And I know you've got a busy week ahead, so good luck to you. We'll definitely be chatting again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maddie.